app link located on the player window VO Radio apps. They're here for you. Download yours today.
Whether a beginner or veteran voice talent, there's something for everyone. This is VO Radio. Hi there, welcome to Let's Talk VO. We're streaming live. You can see us here like we do the show like so many times before, but we're live, you can see us, and we're also on YouTube Live, so fun. I'd like to welcome our panel today. I'm going to try and remember everyone's feature from like the top of my head. Okay, Stacy, that's going to be hard. I'm really going to try. Okay, me, Stacy Barrow, top of mind. Bev standing inside the booth. We have Elaine Clark, Talking Tips. Dee Alvis, VO Horror Stories.
Good job.
And Anthony Reese, Business Sense, and a whole bunch of other things that he shares. Like
way to go. Yeah.
Yay. Oh my goodness.
Excellent.
So,
Excellent.
Okay. I have a great short-term memory, so like in 2 seconds, I'll forget that and have to look again. Okay, so exciting stuff, and hopefully we have some fun people joining us today that are going to pop on. I think we've got some in the green room, so to speak. Okay, so also later on in the show, we have Jessica Blue, the dubbing goddess. She's going to be our VIP guest in just a little bit, so we're really excited about that. Oops, maybe I let the cat out of the bag, but I couldn't help it because I'm like really excited. And let's see, all the different ways that you can contact us. The easiest thing is you can text us, and that's at 970-682-3424. Again, you can text us at 970-682-3424. You can use the Ask or Record a Question button. And there's also the info icon on the app, and it's so easy. You just click the info icon and it takes you to like a little envelope. Click it, looks like an email, acts like an email, smells like an email.
Smells like an email.
And you can email us the normal way at ask@voradioonline.com. And I'd like to thank our sponsors. We've got the VoiceOver Extra, the VoiceOver Resource Guide, the VoiceOver Collective, and Nava. And oh my gosh, who do we have? Oh my goodness, I see Steve Ward and Mike Kuhn. Excellent. Thank you for joining us today. This is so fun. It's so much more fun when we have you guys to talk to too. So the more the merrier. Now let's get to a listener email.
You're listening to VO Radio. The views, opinions, and insights shared are not necessarily those of other panelists, guests, and contributors on VO Radio and its broadcast programs. Advice, tips, opinions, and legal suggestions are based on industry experience of the individual co-host, panelist, guest, or contributor. These opinions and comments are not endorsed by or verified by VO Radio and its operators. Listener discretion is advised.
If you're like most voice talent today, you're wondering various things relating to your voiceover career. Well, VO Radio has your answers. Here's more questions answered by our panelists live on Let's Talk VO here on VO Radio.
Listen and learn. Internet radio for the voice artist, just like you. All right. Let's see.
Okay.
All right. You know what's funny is sometimes I like to use an actual piece of paper, and I swear I have invisible ink, because I'll put my finger on it and I'm like, oh my God. Okay. So we've got Connie from Massachusetts, and she wants to know, can we submit an audition using our phone at work? Can we submit an audition using our phone at work? That's such a good question.
Oh boy, can of worms there.
Yeah, right.
I'm since I read the question, I'm just going to take a tiny little stab at it, and I would say if you have the opportunity to not do that, use your recording equipment wherever you normally do, so you can sound your best, so they know exactly what you sound like. If you're in a pinch and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't want to miss this audition, and maybe you can write a little note in your submission like, I had to submit something and I can record otherwise. But if you can avoid it, I think, but iPhones and all that are amazing, so you never know. I don't know. What do you think? Dee?
So I mean, if you're working at a construction site, I would definitely say no,
Right.
because if you're working in a noisy office, even in a cubicle situation, I would definitely say no. I think what she's driving at is more like, if you can't get to your booth, is it
Right.
okay to submit an audition? And to that, I will say 100% yes. But a little bit of advice: the best spot in a pinch in these situations would be your vehicle,
Right
because
on.
they're meant to be soundproof. So it'll keep a lot of the outside noise from affecting your audio quality. And also, it'll provide you enough quiet space. I know plenty of talents that have booked jobs in these situations. Now, again, I'm not saying you should. These are established talents where, like, they're on a short list,
Right.
right?
Right.
There, a handful of people got this audition. They're one of them. So, and with that understanding, when they're sending the email, like, look, I'm on vacation, or, oh man, I was at the grocery store. So, whatever it is. But like Stacy said, avoid it if you can. But again, if time is of the essence and things like that, I would recommend the car. Definitely not the office bathroom, because that's echoey, and there's other weird background noises you might hear that may not be good for your audition.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
Elaine, Bev, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think that if you have a computer that's yours that you keep with you, then airdrop it or email it to yourself, and then do some editing so it sounds better, because you can improve it if you have a computer. I'm not very good about editing on my phone because there's just not enough real estate, and my fingers
Right.
are tiny. So some
Agreed.
people are good at it, but I am not. So that's why sometimes I just keep a computer close by. That would be my suggestion.
Smart.
That's great. I think you have to look. This is for those who are just listening. This is Bev here. We're just. I think you have to look at who you're auditioning for, and I think that's a big thing. So if you get an audition on an online casting and they're taking 50 and you can't, you have the opportunity to slate. Hi, it's Bev Standing, and I'm on the road. Apologize for the quality. Here's my read. Be honest with them, right? If you're through an agent and you're not supposed to slate, then let your agent know. They know who the casting people are, and they can pass that along. So I think that's something to be considered in the answer to all that question. Anthony?
I think that's great, Bev Standing. In my opinion, is everything everybody's saying is golden nuggets for you guys to run out there and run with. There are people who have JOBs. They don't have an environment, like Dee was saying, that's acoustically correct. They work out of a office where there's noises constantly going on, so they can't. Lots of glass, lots of live reverb going on. So the best part is definitely an iPhone today, especially the 12 and up and 14s and 16s and all that have really great recording in them. You can go sit in the front of your truck or your car, or you can get a fairly decent recording level out. And like Elaine was saying, when you record it, then send it to yourself via your messenger, and go upstairs, open up your computer. Preferably you have some kind of audio software in it at work, and edit it down and send it off. But the reality is, you want to look into the possibility of creating a very small little remote recording rig. You can literally go out and spend $100, $150. If you already own a laptop, which pretty much everybody does nowadays, they have a laptop or a tablet or something they can take with them. You can basically buy yourself a fairly inexpensive, affordable microphone that you can plug right into the USB, straight into it, whatever. I know people who actually travel a lot. And so because of that, they actually have a hotel rig that they actually take with them when they go on the road. They have a little box or briefcase or a little piece of small luggage, and that's the recording rig remotely, right? So definitely food for thought for all of that.
I was just holding up this box
There you go.
because this is a great device in here that I have it in my travel kit, that when it will remove. It has different levels that you can remove your background sound. So you can be at a conference, you can be in a noisy environment, and it will get rid of it. So that's a new thing that's come out a few years ago.
And also,
What
and for
is the
those,
Audio Sigma? What is the model?
that's right. I was going to say that. Thank you.
It's Podmobile.
Podmobile.
Mike Hero DSP.
The Mic Hero. Yeah, I've heard a lot of great things about that. I need to pick one up.
But that's in my travel kit, and because a lot of times in hotels, it's kind of noisy too, because you have all the pipes and stuff that
Right.
are going through it, so it has a big hiss, in your hotel.
Right. I was going to throw that in. Well, let me throw this in real quick before it leaves my mind. Tony Raimondo, who does our technology and gadget segment here, he's up to like 32 reviews on products and stuff out there. He actually just spoke to me last week about a feature he's about to release this week onto the show, and it's basically exactly that. He is reviewing those stereo little gadget tools you can buy that have the little cross microphone cross. I forgot what it's called. He told me what it was and I forgot the name, but they're fairly inexpensive. And instead of him recording on his iPhone like he typically does when he's not in his booth at home because he travels a lot, he's going to buy one of those little things. So you want to check out his new features because we will promote it, probably post it when it's available for you to take a look at out there for the listeners and those watching. So
Ooh, can't wait to hear that. And you know
I
what, Carrie?
wanted to ask Mike, since you're there, and then I'm going to follow it up with Steve. Have you ever auditioned from your phone, guys? Steve is nodding no. Mike is no. You can say
No, not from my phone. I don't have a iPhone, so my phone's not awesome, but
right.
I've done lots of stuff on the road and built lots of pillow forts in my hotel room. So
pillow fort, right? Yep. So what do you record with when you remote like that? Do you have a T20 or what do you work with?
Yeah, I have an AT, what is it, 2025, whatever, the USB mic.
Yeah, the digital.
It's very, very, very forgiving and it works really well. Done hundreds of projects.
And
kneeling in the hotel room.
And why don't you explain a little bit for those out there watching how you and or listening that are somewhat new? Maybe they're having to now because of the whole changes going on. Maybe they're having to run out and get away from working at home. They're having to go into the office now and go back out on the road. What do you mean by hotel fort or whatever? Why don't you explain that quickly for listeners and viewers?
Well, hotel rooms are pretty noisy and echoey, but if you ask for extra pillows, you can make, I don't know what that is, a U, put one against the wall and two up against the edges of that. It really does kill the noise. You put the microphone on your little tripod right inside there. Right. I have an iPad that I read from. I do it on my laptop, and it's not as good as my home studio, but it's definitely good enough for auditions, especially if the people know you. The challenge is when you have to do pickups for an old project and you got to make it sound good enough. So it's a challenge, but hey, technology is great. Those AT20, what is it?
2025,
20,
I think.
25. Yeah. The USB condenser mic, $100, $150.
Good stuff. Steve, what about you, brother?
No, I haven't had the chance to do an audition using the cell phone. Would really want that to be a super last resort, but I was going to say as the same thing as Dee, that if it came to it, I would definitely go in the car, because that is, I've heard it before, that's going to have that better acoustic treatment than if you go to a bathroom. A bathroom would be the worst place to go. The reflections on that would be the worst.
The shower doesn't work.
and then imagine somebody walking in and going, okay, what are they're talking to themselves, or what's going on here? So yeah.
Oh, I just wanted to add something to Mike. He was saying he was recording on his knees in a hotel room. The ironing board is fantastic. They usually have one in a hotel room, and then you can raise it to the top and you can stand and then set up your pillow.
Nice.
So that's,
you could do that. Yep.
And then you can keep it in the closet or bring it out wherever you want.
I've had the ironing board stand up behind me lengthways, put the pillows as you speak of, Mike, with the U with the luggage rack, and then an extra blanket going over the luggage rack, over the top of the ironing board, because then you can sit, and a towel underneath your laptop so you don't get the desktop. And I've pretty much worked around the world, so you do it works, right?
Amazing. Man, is this gold or what? Great topic. Who was that? Connie who wrote in? Is that right? You said Connie? Great topic, Connie, because you got really good advice out there from people that probably have the same questions. Stacey, why don't you take us out? We'll go to break and we'll come back with Jessica Blue, who's in the waiting room.
Absolutely. And one thought, I'm going to record something today in my car, and I'm going to send it to myself, and I want to open it up on my DAW, and I want to hear really what that sounds like, if I can, I don't know, hear a difference.
You'd be surprised. D nailed it, man. I can't tell you how many back in the day, especially. I know a lot of my students before COVID prior, they would do that. Go to the car.
Yeah, I do a lot
during
of my
lunch.
video content in my CRV, and it sounds
Surprising.
really smooth. Like,
Right.
I'm like, huh, we'll figure out a way to rig something into that with a shotgun mic, perhaps. But yeah.
Okay, well, you know what, guys? Let's take a break so we can get back to Jessica Blue.
This week's Nava News Minute is brought to you by...
Hey there, VO radio listeners. It's D here, your friendly neighborhood tattoo VO. For those who don't know, I'm a voice actor and audio producer helping clients all over the world. If you need your message to stand out so that you can leave an indelible mark, reach out at tattoovo.com or search Tattoo VO on your favorite social media app and see why hundreds of clients in over 60 countries trust their brand at Tattoo VO. Till then, keep shining. Tattoo VO, lending a voice to those who demand to be heard.
Hey everybody, NAVA President Tim Friedlander here with your NAVA News Minute update. The SAG-AFTRA interactive strike is still making progress with AI protections in video games, and NAVA was excited to host a live town hall with some of the members of the Interactive Agreement Negotiating Committee. If you want to rewatch the town hall to learn more about the video game strike, you can do so on our website at navavoices.org under the Resources tab. NAVA debuted a new Best Practices for Kids in VO page this month, which includes resources for parents and a new contract writer just for minors. We are so excited to be a part of VO Atlanta this year, and we'll be hosting a special NAVA panel. Check out all the classes taught by our amazing board members, and visit us at our sponsor table all weekend long. We're also thrilled to announce that we awarded 5 VO Atlanta scholarships this year. Special thanks to Joe Zija and Jennifer Sunbell for donating 2 of those scholarships. And finally, we're continuing to make headway on AI legislation at the state and federal levels. Thank you to everyone for all your support. To find out more info on NAVA, visit our website at navavoices.org. Thanks a lot.
Somebody has to be the best in the business.
Elevate your voice with NAVA, the National Association of Voice Actors. As a nonprofit association, NAVA is dedicated to the advocacy and protection of all our voices and for championing the equitable advancement of the voice acting industry. Visit the website at navavoices.org today. NAVA, together they can protect the future of voice acting and make our voices heard.
It's officially fall, y'all, and that means the new fall-winter issue of the VoiceOver Resource Guide is out now. Issue number 78, we've created a fully updated special video game strike edition of the VORG for you. 3 pages dedicated to strike info. So get yours today at one of our pickup locations near you, or head to thevorg.net, get one shipped out, and we'll plant a tree when you do. How nice is that?
Your voiceover career is dynamic and moving fast, and market trends for voice actors are constantly changing. So having the right resources to stay on top of your game is critical to your success. That's why VO pros and newcomers alike rely on VoiceOverXtra.com daily as their one-stop resource for voiceover success. Cut through the social media noise and find the information you need fast at VoiceOverXtra.com. It's the right resource for you now.
Let's talk VO live on VO Radio. Interact with the show by texting 970-682-3424 or email your question to the show using the app email icon, radio player window, ask a question button, or send an email to ask@voradioonline.com. Let's talk VO live on VO Radio. It's here for you.
Yeah, let's talk VO. What's going on, gang? It's D here, joined by my esteemed panel of colleagues. We have Stacey Barrow, Bev Standing, Elaine Clark, Dr. Anthony Reese, Esquire.
Doctor
And
Esquire.
I made that part up.
Dr.
I don't know. You could have a PhD. I've never asked, but I'm pretty sure you're not a lawyer. So I'm gonna retract the Esquire part so people don't get confused.
There you go.
We're joined, which is really cool. Now what we're doing, guys, something we've added to the show is we're allowing our listeners to join us on the program.
Oh,
So we have Steve and Mike who are joining us today. We encourage more of you to join the party every Monday and Wednesday. And also now we're not just doing the 2Bs on Friday, we're broadcasting in high definition. I don't think Zoom's actually high definition, but whatever quality Zoom is in, that is the definition that we have provided for video streaming on this. It's 2025, gang. We got this Star Trek technology. We figured we're going to use it. So here we go. So you can join us. You don't have to be on video if you join us. You can just, put the black screen on or your emoji or avatar or whatever the kids are using these days. But yeah, so you can join us by just heading on over to the website and click on the Let's Talk VO thing, and you can see the link to join the live panel and discussion. So one thing we have been very excited about doing this week is chatting with the one, the only special guest of the week, Anthony. Hit it!
This week's VIP guest interview is brought to you by
The darkest hour when the night unfolds. I'm a lioness ready to take control.
Hi, I'm Bev Standing, a voice actor in Canada, and I started my journey in the VO world in 2008 and have not looked back.
No one can hold me back.
If you want to talk to me personally about coaching, just message me at bev@bevstanding.com, or you can contact me through my website, bevstanding.com.
No second guessing.
Thanks for listening to VO Radio, internet radio for the voiceover community. VO Radio takes you up close and personal with some of the leading experts, trainers, coaches, and gurus within the voiceover industry. Now it's time for this week's VIP guest here on Let's Talk Live and VO Radio.
All right, welcome back. You know what time that is, of course, here on Let's Talk VO. It's time to welcome our guest in, Jessica Blue. The crowd goes wild. Hey, I got to tell you, we are so excited, Jessica, to have you because Stacey's been pacing back and forth virtually for weeks. She was like, I can't wait for Jessica to be on the show. So it was like a cancerous, not to use that expression too much, but we were all like, oh, well, what's this all about? Let's read into her. And so we were flipping out when we read your resume. We were like, oh my God, this is the ADR queen of the world. You know what? We are excited. The listeners are excited. The viewers are excited. And we want to know a little bit about you. So we're going to pick your brain. We might ask you some off the wall questions that typically are always asked, but that's what's great about this. We're going to go around the panel, let them ask questions. And first thing I'll tell everybody out there, you want to go to the website. It's jessicablue.com. Am I correct to say that?
That is correct.
All right. You want to go to the website. You want to look at the bio. And you want to look at the dubbing, the credits, and you're going to be like, what the heck? I can't believe this. You went from being a paralegal to this craziness. You got to tell us that backstory quickly.
Oh, so you were almost an Esquire. Oh, dang it. Wrong person.
I specifically chose not to become an Esquire because I didn't want to go that route. So I thought paralegal was the next best thing. We do all the work, but not get none of the credit. So that's also why I didn't want to be a lawyer. I grew up the whole legal background. Right out of the gate, I kind of just went and got my paralegal certificate and worked in a couple of law firms, basically doing, believe it or not, asbestos personal injury law.
Yeah.
Boring as all get.
Wow.
Ambulance chasers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was working for the defense. Basically the company that actually produced the stuff inadvertently. And so there was a million lawsuits, there was class action lawsuits. And so I was processing all of those claims and managing all the paralegals. And then from there, I went and ended up working at the electric company up in Northern California, and was the paralegal manager for the law department of the electric company up there. And so that.
Oh, so not the TV show I watched as a kid. Okay.
But while I was at the electric company, that's when I learned about this thing called voiceover. And my then husband, I'm not married anymore, but he had told me about this woman he heard on the radio about the school that she did voiceover. I'm like, he's like, I think you might be interested in that because I've always loved acting. I've always loved movies and film and TV and all that stuff. And so I went and took a class and just kind of fell in love with the whole idea of it and just dove head first. And
That's
so
awesome.
voiceover was what kept me sane throughout my years at the
Right. So you started out in the Bay Area, right? San Francisco, and you worked your way down in 2013. I think I read way back when I was researching, down to LA. Now you're in the LA full-time market and you've gone into this full-time, right? What got you into the ADR world?
Actually, it was kind of by accident. I did not seek it out. It just sort of landed on my lap. And so I will say this for everybody who's listening. If you think you're going to go after one thing, just be open to the possibilities because you
That's
never
right.
know what's going to land in your lap. You never know who's going to refer you to something else and just have this amazing opportunity. And that's how dubbing kind of landed in my lap. My very dear friend, who I met up in NorCal, who would come up and teach voiceover. We're thick as thieves, besties. He is also a voice director and had a project that he was working on. And he says, I need your help. Please come work with me on this show. You're very organized, very detailed. I need to keep it all together. And I need your assistance on this. I'm like, okay, sure. So we basically taught ourselves dubbing, the world of dubbing. I learned the software of how to we use to adapt the original language to English. He'd be looking at one screen, I'd be looking at another, and we just like watch for lip flaps and watch for sync and all that kind of stuff. And so
Awesome.
we ended up doing about 5 or 6 films together. And then he recommended me at another studio, and then it kind of just blossomed into 1 minute I'm his right-hand assistant, and now I'm directing. So
am I hearing you correctly? And all the listeners and viewers out there, basically you're kind of in a way self-taught.
Yes, 100%.
See, people out there, you can't just play around and mess around and you never know what you're going to get. Let's go to a quick email that came in, and then I'm going to go around the horn and let Dee or whoever wants to take a couple questions at you. Jasmine, a listener in Miami, writes, what is the biggest obstacle you can share to doing ADR?
Oh, the biggest obstacle for me as a director, one of the biggest obstacles is not getting all the materials in before we start recording. So when I get assigned a project, they give me, if it's a movie, usually that's not the case. Usually I have the whole movie to watch. But if it's an episodic, say it's a 12 episode series, sometimes I might only get the first couple of episodes to watch, and it's weeks before I get the next half. So I'm sort of directing in a vacuum because I don't know the story arc of these characters. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know if this lead gets killed off in episode 3, and I'm thinking he's going to be for the duration, and he's not. And then, or the opposite of that is someone coming in and I'm thinking they're just an incidental. No, they turn out to be this huge main character.
Right.
So it's very challenging to do that when we don't have all the materials up front. It's hard. It's hard. But
And I find that a lot of actors that I've had my background with over the years, they say that they don't know even from season to season if they're going to get killed off or not. So they don't know really because they don't publish some of the episodes ahead of time, so you don't know what's going to happen to your character because that can get in the way of your character, the evolution of the character. If you know, well, I'm only got 3 more episodes and I die anyway. So
exactly. And also too, as an actor, if you get booked on a dubbing project, you have no idea what you're walking into. You're walking in completely blind. So you have no idea if you're a lead. Well, you might know if you're a lead, but you don't know who that lead is. You don't know anything about the show. If you're walking in as an incidental or a secondary lead, you don't know how many voices you're going to be doing. I could be throwing 2 voices at you. I could be throwing 15 characters.
Yep.
Just depends. You have nothing. You're walking in totally blind. So you got to be ready to play and ready to go.
Awesome. Bev, Sandy, you got anything you want to ask her?
I had so many questions and you addressed them. Our listener addressed them. Jessica mentioned it. It was like, come on, guys, let me come. Hi, Jessica. Nice to see you here. Here's a question for you, and this is more for the listeners because I think I know the answer. But ADR, with the voiceover industry being what it is today, I'll stick with one question. Is it an in-person thing? Is it mostly LA? Is it mostly New York, Toronto,
Nice.
Vancouver kind of thing, main cities, as opposed to, hey, I do online casting and I can do it from home?
Great question. That's probably my number one question that I
Yeah,
get
Leonard wrote that and asked
all the
that.
time. Yeah. For me personally, the studios that I work with in LA mainly want in person local people. That doesn't mean that someone can't be not local and fly in. That works too, but they want someone in the studio live face to face. That's also dependent on the studio, it's dependent on the client, Netflix, Hulu, Disney, Amazon, whoever. But that's not to say that there aren't opportunities for remote sessions for dubbing, because there's other places around the country, across the pond, that do remote sessions that are still looking for people, because again, they're looking for the right voice. It's going to save them money. For whatever reason, the studios that I work with, they're just kind of like, no, we want someone in-house. We want them face to face. Like, okay, but you realize you're shooting yourself in the foot, because there's a million great actors out there who aren't local and they would slay this character. So come on, like, so on the one hand, if I know if it was a lead character and I know this person is like gonna slay it, they're great, I will go to bat and I'll try and hire them if they fit the bill and everything. But it's also somewhat out of my hands, because I am at the mercy of the client first and foremost, and the studio that hired me. So
Perfect answer. And to follow up that, if you were working remotely, would they always be a directed session, or would you ever have them just do it on their own and send in you audio?
most of the time is going to be a directed session. I think the ones that are not directed would be possibly audio description, which is kind of a sister to dubbing. It's very much focused on timing, but you're not necessarily performing an actual character that you're witnessing. It's more of a narration, and because you're describing the visuals of what's happening, and it's all very timed out. So a lot of that I think can be done on your own, not directed, but most often, more often than not, I'd say most ADR dubbing sessions will be live directed.
Awesome.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that, because I used to do a lot of described videos and stuff, and it's to the millisecond.
Yep.
And while you're doing the read, trying to fit it in between the last 3 words they show you and the first 3 words they're about to say, you have to fit it in, but you can't be timing it, reading it, performing it.
Right.
So they're usually, at least all mine were directed systems. Yeah, great question. Who's
Really
next?
good question. You know, and I want to throw in, we have Mark's I might say the name right. Mark Silverman is going to be coming into VO Radio soon, and he is known for being the ADR replacement guy for Sylvester Stallone and a lot of stuff.
Oh, nice.
So a lot of people don't know that he actually does a lot of voices, but a lot of people don't know, and you might want to explain this a bit, that there is really work in not only looping and all that, backgrounding and looping and whatever have you, but there is actually people who actually do the ADR for celebrities, because they can be spot on like a body double. So is that true? Is that what kind of what marketing people do like that?
Yeah, it's called sound-alikes essentially. And so if there's the need, because it'll cost too much to have the original actor come in, or maybe they're an A-lister or whatever, they don't have the time, it's beneath them, whatever. They will go out and they'll hunt down. You might see auditions come through that say, we need an exact sound-alike, a sound match. And so those happen all the time, where they need actual sound-alikes to cover various lines. And usually it's not that much, but maybe something happened on set, the wind was too much, or they changed a word or dialogue, something in the dialogue, and just want to pick it up. And it's more cost efficient to get a sound-alike to come in and record it.
Like Tom Hanks' brother.
That's
Yes.
right.
Does Tom Hanks' stuff.
Does a toy.
I wish
Yep,
my brother
exactly
was
right.
Tom Hanks, darn it. So unfair.
Yeah, what is that? Reach for the Sky. His brother. People don't know that's his brother who did that toy, the little Tom Hanks Woody doll. Amazing. Elaine, you got a question, or Stacey?
Hello, Jessica. So good to see you. Well, one is something about spotting the shows. Do you have to spot the show to find out the lip flap and the amount of time, or is that given to you? And
That
you
is
explain it to somebody, because they might not understand the background.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's actually probably one of the most important pieces of a dub is the adaptation. So that's the adapter's job they'll get the copy of the proxy, the video, they'll get the script, they'll use software, usually called Voice Cue, and it has the rhythm band. It looks like the karaoke bands going on the bottom with the dialogue.
Yes.
And they're the ones that will split up the lines, sync it up according to the audio and the matching the lips. They'll rewrite certain dialogue to make sure that it matches the lip flaps better. And so, yeah, usually by the time I come in, that's already done for me by the adapter. But I will say this, there's good and bad adaptations. And so a really strong adaptation is going to have that timing right on, spot on. No pun intended. Yes, pun intended.
Shot there.
Always.
And then they'll also make sure that the beginning and ends of the sentences match the mouth movements, so that, for example, if in Spanish it says vamos a la casa, well, casa is and we would say let's go home, but home is so it's like, what do? Let's go back to the house. How about that? House, casa, it's not a closed mouth. So the adapter is doing that kind of thing to try to match the lip flaps, because our brain, if we can start it the same and end it the same, our brain can fill in the middle. And we'll forget we're watching a dub, and that's my goal.
Awesome. And thank you for that, for elaborating on that area, because that was another listener, Tim, who wrote in asking that exact question. I see, looking at your website right now, what is adapting? Is that rewriting the script from a manual? And no, it's not actually. You just explained what it is. So there you go, Tim. Yep. Really cool.
Boom.
Stacy, your turn. You've been waiting. So what do you got?
I have questions. I want to finish my other one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What percentage of what you're doing with the English version is SAG-AFTRA, and what is non-union?
Great question too. Most of the stuff I work on, it's union. There are non-union projects that do come through from time to time. So there are those out there, but I'd say 95% of the stuff I do is union based.
Awesome.
Okay.
Sorry, Elaine. Cool. Awesome.
Stacy.
I got to talk, so I'm good.
Okay. Oh my gosh. And as everyone was talking, like, I kept switching my question depending what we were saying. I'm like, oh, this is so interesting. Okay. Well, my question for you, Miss Jessica Blue, is more geared toward your voice acting abilities. At this point in your career, with all the directing you do and this and that, do you still audition as a voice actor? Do you do much other voice acting work? And also, do you participate in the actual dubbing in some of your projects as well as certain characters? Or are you totally just like, I'm dubbing, I'm directing, this is my big baby?
Love it. Great question. Yes.
You get to use your skills, your other skills these days.
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes it just depends. More often than not, as the director, I want to give all the opportunities to the actors, and I want them to shine. I want them to do what they're hired to do. If, for example, we need an extra female in to do an incidental or Walla, and we don't have anybody scheduled or whatever, or maybe I ran out of time for someone, I'll go jump in the booth and cover that, or I'll cover a bed of Walla, which is basically the background noise. You hear that murmur, that rumble of people talking, like in a restaurant or an airport, that's Walla. And so I might go in and lay one of those down, but more often than not, I try to let the actors do it. And frankly, because directing takes up so much time, it's very time consuming when I'm on a project, because I'm in the studio from 9 to 6 p.m. And I'm exhausted by the time I get done, and I don't have any bandwidth to do auditions or anything. So I'm very picky and choosy about the auditions that I do submit for, but they're few and far between. Also, because if I book something, I've already committed to this production. And so it'd be kind of, sorry, can I get 2 hours off because I booked a commercial? That's not gonna fly.
Yeah, I would imagine there's a lot of crossover with that, with your time commitments for these shows and movies and things
Very
like that.
much so. Yeah, and I've had actors who are interested in directing, that they either want to do both or make the switch, and I give them a reality check. It's like, well, if you want to do both, it's a balancing act, and you're going to find out real fast how much you're going to balance, and one is going to suffer a little bit because you're going to have so much focus on this directing thing.
Get ready for 18-hour days. Exactly.
Exactly.
If not 20.
Exactly.
Right.
I got
Kind of like being a coach
question.
and a player at the same time.
Right. I got a question I'll throw in, and then we'll let Stacy, whoever, run with another question. We always ask these, if you had a choice, kind of segueing off what you just shared with us, and you only had one area you could participate in, would it be voice acting, on-screen acting, directing, looping, dubbing, what would be that one area if the industry says, sorry, you're only now legal to play with one area in the industry? What would it be if you chose just one?
Ugh.
I know it's hard.
Ugh, that's really hard. I gotta go with directing. I really love
There we
it.
go.
I really, really love it. I love collaborating with actors, gelling off them,
Yeah.
figuring out the best way to come up with a performance, changing things on the fly, whether it's my idea or their idea, and just be in awe of their skills and talent. I absolutely love it. Yeah, I go with directing.
Fantastic. Hey, Mike, you got a question you want to ask Jessica, Mike Kuhn?
No, I'm in awe. This is a whole new world of possibility for me. I'm opening up my lap so something could just fall right in, something like that. But this is fascinating. Thank you.
I love it. And by the way, virtually, Jessica is going to sign virtual autographs for all of you doing virtual autographs out there. So,
but first, you must sign an NDA before you can sign your autograph.
I know you got something hidden, D, before we come down the wire here and do a quick couple of quick. So,
don't ask a stupid question. What happened to the blue hair? Now I feel like I need to call you Jessica Black. Even when I first met you.
It doesn't come through on Zoom, but it's still blue. It's going to be probably.
I think
you can
I feel like I'm going to go through the camera right now, like, huh?
Like a blackish
like Mr. Magoo.
midnight blue.
Yeah, I see. It's like it's got the it's almost like.
And I got to ask her: do you like Foreigner's Midnight Blue or do you like Leanne Ryan's Blue? What's your favorite blue?
Foreigner all day, every day.
She's a rocker. Deb Monroe would love you. She's a rocker for sure.
Can I ask
So
her?
Jessica is also going to be at VO Atlanta for those who are going. And hosting a couple of panels, or part of a couple of panels, I should say, right? You're doing the voice directors panel. That's going to be on the Friday at 1:00. And she's also going to be on the Get in Sync with English dubbing, which I definitely want to check out because I definitely want to get better at my dubbing craft. And that's going to be this Saturday at 10 a.m. So you can see her in the flesh and get those actual autographs.
Yes.
There you go.
Can I just throw one thing out there? And Jessica, I would like you to promote yourself. You recently just did, is it Cooked?
Yes.
Tell the audience about that, because that's pretty cool and it's very new.
Yeah. It just wrapped a couple weeks ago, and it just came out on Hulu and Disney Plus. Show called Cooked. It is a show. Think The Bear adjacent. It's about this chef, a high-profile chef who runs a restaurant, and it follows him on this night where it's just a lot of pressure, a lot of everything that just can happen does happen. He's not only dealing with his dad who's in the hospital, then he finds out that his mentor, celebrity chef guy, is coming in to dine, and he didn't know about it. And there's another couple who's going to have a marriage proposal, and he doesn't want to be there because he's also a drug and alcoholic, and he's already chugging vodka in his water bottle by the time he walks in for the night. So he's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders, but it is a great story, a great movie, so well acted by the original characters, and the voice actors slayed it. It's such really well done. I don't normally go back and watch the stuff that I've dubbed because I've seen it a million times by the time I've finished, but sometimes I want to go back and just see how it all came together with the mix. Everything, and it is such a great
Has
movie.
it dropped already? When's it drop?
It's out now. Both are on Hulu or Disney Plus, and it's actually based on a British movie, I want to say from 2021, called Boiling Point. Basically the same story, just different actors, and this one was based in Turkey. So it's really, really well done. Highly recommend
It is in my queue.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hey, thank you so much. We're so glad that we brought you in, and Stacy got the opportunity to book you in for show. One last question came through, and I'm going to go ahead and read it for Samam. They wanted to know if you basically are a teacher of ADR or if you hold clinics or workshops or classes privately.
Yes, yes, and yes. I do classes. I do private one-on-one sessions all through Zoom. Every once in a while, I will do an in-person class. That hasn't happened in a minute, but most of the time it's usually on Zoom. So if you're interested, you can go to my website. On my contact page, there's a little link there that says, if you want to do coaching, click there. You can see my schedule. It's kind of booked out for the next couple of months because I'm starting a project in a week. So I've already booked myself out. But also you can shoot me an email and say you're interested, and I can find a date and we can make something work. So let me know.
Awesome. Stacey.
Oh, Stacey.
And, I actually did take one of Jessica Blue's workshops through the Sound and Furry, but she has them all over through many different things, and you will see her name pop up on LinkedIn or what have you. And if you're interested in taking her workshop, there's always something to be had. There's always one coming up, and it's so good. I highly recommend it.
But just at conferences, you can't even bribe her if it's sold out because her stuff sells out pretty quick. I tried to bribe her and I was denied. So just letting y'all know.
Hey, thank you again. And for those of you just joining us, you got to go to Jessica Blue, BLUE.com, and you can listen to the entire interview and broadcast tomorrow on the Encore, 5 p.m. Eastern time for sure. Any last thoughts you want to share or ways to contact you outside of your website?
Website or that email that's on there is probably the best way to contact me. And yeah, I mean, if you have any questions or whatever, shoot me an email, let me know. It might take me a minute to respond, but I do try to get back to everybody at some point. But I really appreciate being here. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the invite. So great to see some familiar faces. I
want to hear some gossip.
I have to say that Jessica Blue, this is the main thing that I remember from the workshop. She had the best icebreaker. We talked about, does everyone like potatoes, or what is their favorite way to have a potato? And that's like all I remember. I was obsessed with.
You had to choose just one?
Right?
Going through my potato history.
It's like choosing my favorite cat.
Everybody had a different potato thing, except there was one person who said that they didn't like potatoes. I'm like, oh, no.
Right?
You picked them out of class.
I was a potato in a past life. So.
Does anybody remember that Mr. Potatoes chain back in the day? You could go there, there's like 50 different ways you could order a potato, big old 1 pound. Oh, I used to love that place, man. Oh my God.
There's a place here that it's a jazz club actually, and it's called the Baked Potato. And it's very small and intimate. You go and you can see these really up close jazz players, but you can order these potatoes and they're the size of your head, and they stuff them with whatever you want. It's delicious.
That's
okay,
fantastic.
I'm going there and you're going to share one with me.
Yes, I'll do it.
New meaning to Mr. Potato Head, apparently. All right.
You're right. Okay. Jessica Blue, thank you so much for being part of the VO Radio. Let's Talk
yes,
VO.
Thank you so
as our
much.
VIP guest. We really appreciate it. Stick around. We got that.
I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yep, we got Who's That Voice coming up next, and one more quick question, and we're going to wrap things up, so don't go anywhere.
This week's Events and Happenings is brought to you by...
I'm Stacey Barrow, and I'm the imaging voice here on VO Radio, as well as a feature contributor. My feature is Top of Mind, where I talk about what's top of mind for those who are new to VO. I do all different types of voiceover, and I'm also bilingual in English and Spanish. I truly love all things voiceover, and I definitely love to talk about it. So reach out to me anytime here at VO Radio Online, or you can also find me at voiceoversbystacey.com.
Hey, y'all. This is Ali, chef with Events and Happenings, Audio Publishers Association 2025 in New York, March 2nd and 3rd. Go to audiopub.org and go to APA-conference for more information. VO Atlanta, the voiceover conference that is the world's largest and longest running voiceover conference, will be happening March 20th through 23rd at the Hilton Atlanta Airport. Go to voatlanta.me to learn more. Also, if you want to go somewhere pretty cool, get mic'd. Well, they've got their Ultimate VO Survivor Weekend Retreat, and that will be June 27th through June 30th. It is an opportunity for workshops, panels, team building, risk-taking, awakening, adventure, pool, spa, fire pit, karaoke games. It is a lot of fun. It's a retreat, and I highly recommend it. And as always, folks, if you have an event or you have a happening that you would like us to announce and share with the VO Radio community, please reach out to us. Have a great day.
What's your daily ritual? How many auditions do you do a day? What's your audition success rate? Are you ready to give it your all, or do you sit back and just wait for the phone to ring? VO Radio wants to know what a day in your life is like. Recommended by one of our listeners, Tanya, we'd like to hear your own story in your own words. Tell us about the day in your life as a voiceover talent or voice actor. Simply go to the listener section of our website, click on the Day in the Life area, fill out the form, record a 4 to 5 minute story about the day in your life, and submit it to us at VO Radio. We'll add it to our new feature called Day in a Life. What's the day in your life like as a voiceover talent? We want to know. VO Radio. Listen, learn, and succeed.
Let's Talk VO Live on VO Radio. Interact with the show by texting 970-682-3424 or email your question to the show using the app email icon, radio player window, ask a question button, or send an email to ask@voradioonline.com. Let's Talk VO Live on VO Radio. It's here for you.
Welcome back, everybody. Here we are in the final block, and I just want to say thank you to Jessica. Now, something Jessica has done that nobody knows about except Jessica and me is that Jessica wants to give an hour of dubbing coaching via Zoom to one lucky listener. So I am going to say, since you can text us at 970-682-3424, or you can send in the answer through our email, which is ask@VORadioOnline. Here's my question. We're going to pick one lucky listener that answers this question via those ways. Send us your name, your email, and your best potato story. And we will pick one lucky listener, and we'll pick it on Monday during our live show.
Good.
I hope that works, Anthony. I just kind of ran with that one. But because we have a contest coming up soon, which is Who's That Voice? And so you'll hear that shortly. But thank you, Jessica, and good luck to all our listeners. Now, we have a question.
Yeah, let's go ahead and run that.
If you're like most voice talent today, you're wondering various things relating to your voiceover career. Well, VO Radio has your answers. Here's more questions answered by our panelists live on Let's Talk VO here on VO Radio.
Listen and learn. Internet radio for the voice artist, just like you.
This question comes from Samantha from Utah. I'm so glad when I went to school, I learned the abbreviations of all the states. So yay, I got this one right. It's Utah. Samantha, this is cool. I hope you're out listening. I'm a former Olympic athlete. Congratulations. Wow. But your question, what makes a good VO coach? So you've had some incredible coaches, I'm sure, through being an athlete. What makes a good VO coach? Now, I'm going to direct this to Elaine to start us out because she is a great VO coach. And what in your eyes makes a great VO coach?
Someone who doesn't try to make someone sound like them, but sees what someone has to offer and enhances what they already have and connects with them on a personal level that they understand, even if they're getting pushed, which they should be pushed. I think anyone that just says, yes, 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 that's good, I like it, thumbs up, is not helping anyone. We're looking for, you want to have a coach who's going to push you to do something that you wouldn't normally do so that you're better than you ever imagined. But you know, it doesn't mean that you won't be tense at different times, but that's what I would suggest.
That's great. Anthony, you've been around?
I think a ditto on that. Basically, I think it's you want to find somebody you have chemistry with. You want to find someone who's been there, did that. You want to find somebody who doesn't try to make you into what they want you. They don't try to mold you. They let you have your what I call the unique sound proposition, if you will. You want them to be able to strengthen what you have to offer everybody has an X factor about themselves, no pun intended there either. But if you can be you and get out of the way of what other people are trying to make you be, then that brings out the best you can be. And so you want a coach who's going to teach you how to seize and adhere to your money voice, but at the same time, they're going to teach you how to be a diverse voice actor. This is a business of voice acting. It's not necessarily voiceovers or narrations or whatever. You got to be able to act different roles and different pieces for different genres. So you want to find somebody who will help showcase you and make you strong, but at the same time, also help you step out of the booth a bit and play with your voice in as many ways you can possibly work in your voice. So that's my thought, at least. Chemistry is the most important thing. You'll find somebody who really clicks with you. So that's my thought.
Yeah.
Dee, and then Jessica.
Well, for me, I think I want to piggyback off the last thing you said there, Anthony, is the chemistry, right? I think any reputable coach will offer you a consultation, even if it's 15 minutes and we're on the phone. I think it's really important that you learn whether or not you can vibe with that person. And for me personally, just how I operate as a human being, that was huge, because there were certain coaches that were recommended to me when I was looking to take this thing to the next level and really work on my acting chops. And certain folks I talked to that I was just like, ooh, no, this is like fire and ice, like a mosquito bite irritating me. So I was like, and I'm sure for them, my personality clashed with them and was probably annoying like nails on a chalkboard to them. But when I found the right people, it just works, man. And then it's just like, and then you want to continue. I mean, and again, I don't care how far along you are in your journey, in the process of being an actor, like I had a coaching session this morning. So, it's one of those things where, again, a great coach is only going to work. A great coach is going to be great for the right person. You know what I mean? It's like, not everybody, because again, somebody could say this person's amazing, and I've talked to folks who I'm like, I love this person. They were a great coach, and I've talked to others who are like, I didn't like them or whatever. I'm like, okay, doesn't mean one of us is right and one of us is wrong. It just wasn't the right situation for you. But do take your time and try to find a good fit. Also, be wary, because everybody's a coach now. I think my dog's coaching now too. So,
Jessica, can you add to that?
$30 an hour, but and that's the other thing. I see it a lot of master classes, very few masters. That's the way I'd put it. So, vet the people you're looking to coach with, talk to other talents, look at their resume. If they're talking about being a animation actor coach, and they don't have any credits to their name, that seems a little fishy, right? Like, unless they're one of the directors of something, so just, the information's out there, use it wisely, and then make sure you get the right fit before you spend them valuable dollars.
Jessica.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you. All of everything, chemistry, vibing, reputable, challenging, listening to the person and not making them sound like you want them to be. But through all of that, there's a way that you can do that, being encouraging and kind and not demeaning and tearing someone down. Because I've heard some people that are just outright mean or just make you feel like crap. And that's not what I want you to do, because to me, that's not going to serve you to giving a good performance or getting to the place where you need to be. So there's a way to do that, to be encouraging. So find someone who's in your corner, who's going to fight for you, push you, challenge you, get you out of your comfort zone, because it's going to feel like, it's going to be a little tough, but you kind of need that to reach the level that you need to be at to be competitive in this market.
Nice.
So.
That's perfect. I want to add in that VO Atlanta, if anyone's going to X sessions with coaching and, even casting directors and agents and whatnot, watch how they can bounce from one talent to the next to the next. You'll watch their direction change. You'll watch their attitude change. You'll watch their vocabulary change in some cases. A good coach can adjust their style to the student, in my opinion. And you'll only know that if you work with them. And I have worked in enough group sessions that I can see that. And it just is like, not everybody hears, not everybody learns the same. So if you have a coach that can adjust their way of teaching so that you get it, that makes a good coach.
Excellent. Good
Right.
points,
And for
everybody.
Samantha, I think it's important to understand too, I'm sure from her perspective as an Olympic athlete, you're not going to coach. I don't know what your sport was, Samantha, but like if you were a skier, you probably wouldn't seek out a volleyball coach, right? To make yourself
Right.
a better skier. So also
Right.
think about what direction you're trying to head in your VO path.
Excellent.
Focus on
Good comments, everybody. Let's do this and wrap things up.
This week's Who's That Voice is sponsored by
Once upon a time, in a faraway land, seriously far, like out of this world far, there were two beautiful storytellers on a quest to change the vibration of the planet. With the mic as their weapon, they set forth into the forgotten wasteland of lost celebration, taking on talent big and small to inspire the world. Empower and prepare yourselves for a different kind of vocal training experience. The Get Mike Team. GetMiked.com.
Who's that voice?
I beg your pardon.
Do you have a knack for knowing a voice? Can you recognize a voice with your eyes closed?
Oh, I just rescued a tiger.
VO Radio wants to give you a chance to win free coaching, online courses, and other great stuff.
Greetings, Earthlings.
Listen to Let's Talk VO and VO2B for the weekly voice of the day.
There's a secret mission.
Then fill out the Who's That Voice contest entry, and you'll be added into our weekly drawing on the Let's Talk VO Live the following Monday.
I think that I've lived like 3 lives.
Now let's test your ability to recognize a voice with this week's Who's That Voice?
All right. Before we play the clip, why don't you, Elaine, take it and tell them what they need to do? I think we're muted still here. Can you?
I am
There we
muted
go.
because I like doing a mime version of anything that's audio. So it's much
we're
better.
on video now.
And video. It works well for both. Because that way Jessica can fix it later and add my voice in another language.
Yeah, we're just working on a dub.
So, okay, now that I'm unmuted, what we're going to do is figure out who is this voice. We're going to play a little sample of it. And then the winner of the prize is going to get an intermediate level online course at VO 101 with the one, the only Anthony Rees.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Okay, so we have to listen to it.
Here we go. All right.
You know, I've been around for a while. Met some interesting people. Done some crazy things. So you just might think that there's not much that can take me by surprise. You'd be wrong. The world is full of stories, science, and things that amaze and confound me. Every single day, incredible mysteries that keep me awake at night. Some I can answer. Others just defy logic.
All right, there you go. Hope you had your ears on. So once again, like you heard Elaine say, basically, simply put, you go to the website, go down the listener tab, go down to where it says contest, you fill out the form, add the correct name where it says who's that voice, submit it, and then we're drawing on Monday. We're going to tell you who the winner is, and also we're going to be doing the Jessica Blue drawing on Monday. So we got all kinds of chances for you to win on Monday. All right, let's go with any final thoughts real quickly. We'll wrap up the show. Let's start with our guest, Jessica Blue. Any final thoughts?
First of all, I was like, Arnold Horshack. I know who the answer, but I'm not going to say. And also, every time I hear "Who's that voice?" is it just me, or does anybody else hearing Madonna? Who's that girl? Okay, like, that's all I hear. Like, I'm very musical. I always break in a song. If you ever have
One
a
of my
session,
first album was True Blue.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm an
Had it on
80s
cassette.
girl, so any 80s
I don't
music.
know if
But
kids remember cassettes, but I had.
yeah, tapes, big boombox. No, that's all. I thank you so much for having me. This was super fun, and it's so great to see some familiar faces, and I can't wait to see you guys again. But thank you very much for having
Very
me.
good. Thank you so much for being here. Elvis, what's your final thoughts?
Well, again, I'm excited to see Jessica in person again at VO Atlanta. She'll be doing a panel on Friday at 1 in the afternoon and then Saturday at 10 a.m. So check them both out. Check one out. You know, if you're going to be there, say hi to all of us. I believe Elaine and Bev and I are also going to be there. No, Elaine's not going to be there this year. Okay.
Nope.
So Bev and I are holding down the fort like we did last year for VO Radio.
And Deb Monroe, of course. Yep.
Yeah, Deb's going to be there, and Jessica's going to be there, and a lot of other great folks are going to be there. So that's just coming up in a couple of weeks. Excited about that, and just super jazzed to have Jessica with us because, again, like I got to meet her for the first time a few months back, and it was just like, oh yeah, this is my kind of person, and just an awesome soul. So thank you so much for joining us, Jessica. It's really rad to have you here.
Very good. Hey, Elaine Clark, final thoughts?
Well, that's where Jessica D and I were at Mavo and had a blast together and hanging out. And I would just say that I have one thing for Jessica, that we have a little gossip thing. If we can just say it together. So we share our thing here at
Gossip Corner.
So
You
we
have to
were
do it
just
with a British accent. We were
Yes, we had to do that. And so we would just interview people at the bar, at the gossip corner, because we were sitting at the corner of a bar. Some people were not as receptive to our questions and other people were, but we had a blast regardless.
So much fun.
So, but I want to say the one thing that people should take away from this is to be open for what jobs can come their way. Because even though you have a path, there's someone called Murphy who likes to change that path and surprise you with something else. So be open to how the universe wants to bring the voiceover world to you in a way that you may not have expected.
Nice. Well said. Bev Standing, final thoughts.
I would like to say never stop learning and never stop paying it forward. I think you have it proof right here on these panels that we have, these live shows. Elaine's been in the business for, a while. And Jessica, I mean, your path is unbelievable and the success is it's just so nice to see. And you're here doing, and you, Anthony, and and Deb when she's here, it's like everybody is just, we're not here to say, oh, good, I made another paycheck today being on a radio show. We're doing this to pay it forward. So don't ever stop learning, because we're still learning, and don't ever stop paying it forward.
You got it. Well said. And with that said, that's all there is to be said, because that's what it's all about here at VO Radio. Jessica, thank you for being part of the show today with us. Don't forget to check out the Encore tomorrow, 5 p. Eastern time, and then VO Tubi on Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Also simulcast over the live platform as well as through our YouTube channel. So with that said, thanks for listening. We'll see everybody really soon, and pay it forward. That's what it's all about.
Thanks for listening to VO Radio and Let's Talk VO. Now we will return you to programming already in progress.